Good morning, children. Let us start with the second chapter of geography today, physical features of India. What are the physical features of India? In the previous classes, also lower classes, we have studied that different topography of our country like mountains and plains, plateaus, etc. This is also a more description gives about the physical features of India. We know that in the previous classes we studied the various landforms of India. There are also plains available, some regions with mountainous areas or large stretches of plains are available in the northern regions, and plateaus regions are there, or mountainous region in the north, and also island groups, etc. So here India also has this type of different or varied topography, and the landforms are the different types: mountains, plateaus, deserts also, etc. Island groups are there. So also India displays such kind of variation in physical divisions also. So the peninsular plateau constitute one of the ancient land masses, very ancient period onwards it exists. So also we can find it is supposed to be one of the most stable land blocks without much changes also. Himalayas in the north and the northern plains, these are most recent landforms. We know that Himalayas are young fold mountains, or the youngest fold mountains. These are recently formed, not much older like other landforms. Aravalli Mountains, Aravalli Hills, we know that in Rajasthan, this is very ancient mountains, but comparing the Himalayas. Himalayas are called the young fold mountains also. So we can find here the large peaks or deep valleys and fast flowing rivers all exist in the Himalayan mountainous regions. Northern plains are also formed with the alluvial deposits. The alluvium, which is brought by the Himalayan rivers from the mountainous area, are deposited on the both sides of these rivers. So large alluvial plains are found in the northern region, that is called the northern plains in our country. Also there are many hills, valleys, etc. are found in these regions. Now we can find the physical features of India can be grouped under the following different classifications. We can find it is divided into the Himalayan mountains. India's physical division is divided into Himalayan mountains, then coming south of the Himalayas, northern plains, then coming to the south extreme south of the peninsular plateau, Indian desert on the western region, the Rajasthan region, and the coastal plains both sides, and South India there are coastal plains, then some of the island groups. So these are the division of physically India is divided into 6 regions: the Himalayan mountains, northern plains, peninsular plateau, Indian desert, coastal plains, and islands. Today we are going to study about the Himalayan mountains, the most important physical feature of our country, which is protecting our country from the northern regions as the Himalayas. This is generally the young and structurally fold mountains, and but it is very younger also. Stretch over from the northern borders of India. Himalayan mountains we can find the extreme northern part or the northern bordering region of India, which divides India in from other countries of the north, or other countries in the northern region of our country. So these mountain ranges run in the west to east direction from the Indus River to the Brahmaputra. We can find a west to east direction these Himalayan mountains are stretching. We can also find the rivers, important rivers on the northwestern part of Himalayas, the Indus River, and extreme eastern region we can find the Brahmaputra rivers also. This Himalayas, or these mountains are the loftiest, the highest mountains, and one of the rugged or the rough uneven mountain ranges in the world. Himalayas are the highest mountain ranges in the world. This is also occurring in a continuous chains. That's why we say Himalayan mountain ranges. Okay, not a single mountain, not a single peak of mountain. It is continuous range of mountains. almost we can find it looks like an arc shape, a crescent shape or an arc shape it exits. It covers about a kilometer distance of 2400 kilometers. Himalaya stretches almost about 2400 kilometers. Its width, in length it is 2400 kilometers, but in width also it varies. Not everywhere its width is similar, and in 400 kilometers distance in the Kashmir region we can find the width of the Himalayas. When we are approaching towards the east direction in Arunachal Pradesh, it reduces up to 150 kilometers, 150 kilometers. These are the difference. Altitudinal variations are also very greater. That means the height also differ in different regions. Some regions, these are very highest mountain peaks are found here, and some of the other regions very small hills also can be found here. So number of valleys are also we can find in these regions. Now the northernmost range, extreme northern part of the Himalayas, it is also in the latitudinal extension we are dividing according to its height also, and the northernmost ranges of the Himalayas are called the Greater Himalayas or the Inner Himalayas or Himadri. Extreme northern part of the Himalayas we call it as the Greater Himalayas or the Himadri. That is the highest peaks are found here. So these are continuous range consisting the highest peaks, and average height is 6000 meters. Average height of the Himadri or the Greater Himalayas is 6000, but some of the highest peaks are more than this. This is the average height is 6000 in these regions. So the faults of the Great Himalayas also can be found here. The core of this part of the Himalayas composed of granite. Mostly these regions granite is found here. So it is also perennially snow bound, which means snow is covered almost all through the year. Perennially means continuously, always snow is covered in these regions. The Greater Himalayas are covered with snow all around the year. So number of glaciers are also descend from this range. Many glaciers are found because we know that large masses of the ice or the snow is covering this top of the Himalayan mountains. Sometimes it may descend down also, it may fall down. The glaciers may fall down like landslides. So glacier falling down or avalanches also occur in these regions. So these regions are the greatest peaks in the extreme northern part of the Himalayan mountains. Coming to the south of the southern part or the central part of these Himalayan mountains or the Himadri, the south of the Himadri we can find other smaller hills. Comparing the Himadri, so smaller than the Himadri, some other hills are found here. They are also known as the Himachal or the Lesser Himalaya. The second portion, the smaller than the Himadri, other regions of the mountains of the Himalayas are called the Himachal or the Lesser Himalayas. Here also we can find that these are compressed and altered rocks. Some changed forms of rocks we can find here. So the altitude, the height of this Himachal is less than Himadri. About its variations or altitude or the height also varies between 3700 and 4500 meters. Okay, the height is different or smaller than the Himadri. 3700 to 4500 meters are the average the height or the altitude of the mountains in these regions, in the Himachal regions. Its width also is different, and we know that the almost average width of these regions are also 50 kilometers only, while the Pir Panchal range forms the longest in these areas, and also the other most important range here. Also the another regions, another mountain peaks are there, Dhauladhar and Mahabharat ranges. These are also important mountain ranges in the Himachal region. Now, when we are comparing, this range also has another important hill stations in the northern part of our country, like the famous valleys of Kashmir, Kulu and Kangra Valley in the Himachal Pradesh, and these are all famous hill stations in the Himachal. Now coming to the lowest part of the Himalayas, the Himadri, Himachal, and the lowest part, the smaller hills in the Himalayas, which are known as the Shivaliks, that is the lowest part of the Himalayas. Now these three ranges, we know that the Himadri is the highest or the loftiest part of the Himalayas. Then coming to the Himachal, now it is the Shivaliks. So these regions, 10 to 15 kilometers it has the width, and also its altitude, height also is varying between 900 to 1100 meters. Its width also is decreasing here, and also its height or on the altitude also 900 to 1100 meters differences we can find here. So these are also composed of unconsolidated sediments brought by the rivers. We know that most of the rivers are flowing coming from the Himalayas, or the northern hills are flowing through these regions, so that the sediments are deposited in these regions. And also we can find a thick gravel and alluvium brought by the rivers are deposited in these regions. So also the longitudinal value line between the Lesser Himalayas and the Shivaliks are known as dunes. So here there are some of the beautiful places, or dunes are found here. Especially we can find the Dehradun, Kotli Dune, Patli Dune. These are some of the well-known dunes here, where the sand dunes are deposited by the these most important Himalayan rivers. So these places are also beautiful regions for the sightseeing. Now we can also find some of the important rivers are also flowing through these regions. Are Indus and Satluj, has been traditionally known as Punjab Himalaya, which are flowing through the Punjab regions, and these rivers we can find 5 important rivers which are originating from the Himalayas are flowing through Punjab region. Also Kashmir and Himachal Himalayas are there, and also these are the part of the Himalayas lying between the Satluj and Kali rivers, known as Kumaun Himalayas. So there are local names for all these mountainous regions in the Himalayas in the different states also. Then other regions we can find that the Kali and the Teesta rivers demarcate the Nepal Himalayas, and the part lying between the Teesta and Dihang rivers are known as Assam Himalayas. So the water, the rivers are dividing the some of the regions of the Himalayan mountains. So they have local names also, because the people who are living in the particular states, which are the states lying in these regions, have their own local names. There are also regional names for these categories. We can find this type of Himalayas here. The Brahmaputra marks the easternmost. We studied that already. The Indus River is from the extreme western regions of the Himalaya up to the Brahmaputra in the eastern regions. So the Brahmaputra river is the bordering the eastern region of Himalayas. Beyond the Dihang Gorge and the Himalayas bend sharply to the south and spread along the eastern boundary of India. It is protecting like an arc extreme east when the Himalayas are the shape of the Himalayas are extremely like an arc. So these regions are known as the Purvachal or the eastern hills and mountains. Purvachal hills are in the extreme eastern part of our country, that is beyond the Brahmaputra river and the Dihang river. So these are also running through the northeastern states, mostly composed of strong sandstones which are sedimentary rocks also, because the sedimentary rocks and the sandstones are found here, and covered with the dense forests also. The extreme eastern regions, Himalayas are covered with the dense forests. Mostly we can find these run in the parallel ranges and valleys also. Purvachal comprises the Patkai hills. There are many other hills, local names are there: Patkai hills, Naga hills, Manipur hills and Mizo hills. These all together is known as the Purvachal, which means this is lying in the extreme eastern part of the our country, and this is the these are lying in the Shivalik ranges of the Himalayas, that is the lowest part of the Himalayan mountains. That's all for today. Tomorrow we will study about the second physical division of our country, that is very important, northern plains, because large agricultural regions and productivity takes place in this region. That's all for today. Thank you.